Hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. We'll just maybe give it a minute while people trickle in. Okay, good morning, everyone. Can you see my slides or no? Slides? Are my slides visible? Can someone answer me, please?
I can see them.
Okay, excellent.
But I'm
hello.
a presenter, so I don't know if everybody else is seeing them as participants.
Okay, well, let's hope for the best. Hello, my name is Kara Vincent. I'm the knowledge translator here at CIPSRT. Welcome everyone to today's talk, CIPSRT Training, Outcomes and Upcoming. So all attendees, before we get started, just a little bit of housekeeping. All attendees are in listen-only mode. This is to limit noise and feedback during the presentation. Today's presentation is being recorded, so a copy of the recording will be sent out to everyone automatically after the presentation. There is going to be a question period wherein we will ask you to put your questions in the question box, which you should see a little graphic here pointing out where you can find that. And some organizations block the go to webinar launch window. I hope you don't run into that, but if so, this means some people will have to join us by phone. And there's also, you can also see, I think, in the graphic where you can change that setting. Okay. I also want to draw your attention to this slide. Should you require French translation in real time during this webinar, please access Wordly, our simultaneous French captioning service, using the link, or you can scan the QR code. Be sure to keep both windows open, one for the webinar and one for Wordly. And please select French, Canadian French, at the top of the Wordly window. I'd like to acknowledge where we are broadcasting this lecture from. I know a lot of you are joining us from other places, but we're broadcasting from the University of Regina, which is situated on Treaty 4 lands with a presence in Treaty 6. These are the territories of the Nahiawak, Anishinaabe, Dakota, Lakota, and Nakota, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. And we acknowledge our uninvited presence on this land as a step toward the ongoing process of reconciliation. So now I am so pleased to welcome our speaker. Rachel Werrett is Rachel Werrett is the Manager of Training and Development for CIPSRT. She's previously served as the interim CIPSRT Operations Manager and worked in positions responsible for program development, business development, and management within the University of Regina's Center for Continuing Education. Her mix of project management and program implementation skills, expertise in continuing professional education, and business acumen ensures that all programs offered as part of CIPSRT's training pillar are responsive to the needs of Canadian PSP members and their families, PSP leaders, and public safety organizations. So now I'm happy to turn it over to Rachel. Just give me 1 second. So Rachel can share her screen with us.
Let us attempt that.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
It won't let me.
here.
Oh, there we go.
How about now?
Thank
Oh,
you, Kara. Thank you. Okay. Thanks, Kara. Appreciate that. Can I get an acknowledgement, Kara? You can see my slides. We're good on that front, I think.
yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So thanks, Kara, for that introduction. So again, my name is Rachel Werrett, and I'm here to do a bit of a presentation for everybody today. The spotlight on training, outcomes, and upcoming today at the end of the month. Thank you for everybody who has joined us. I know it's going to be a busy season for everybody getting back into the swing of things with summer vacation coming to an end and fall beginning. So thank you everybody who took the time out today to come to the webinar. As Kara mentioned, I'm the Manager of Training and Development. I've been with CIPSRT since 2020. And again, previous role as Operations Manager, as well as previous roles at the Center for Continuing Education here at the University of Regina that focuses on all types of professional development in the credit and non-credit realm. The welcome land acknowledgement, Kara already did a welcome land acknowledgement for CIPSRT. So I will go ahead and just again recognize CIPSRT and the U of R Regina Main campus are on Treaty 4 lands in the territories of the Dakota, Lakota, and Nakota, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. So I just want to, I put this slide in just because there's, we are going to be speaking about the Public Health Agency of Canada projects. And I just put this definition slide in here just because CIPSRT has a mandate for serving public safety personnel. So when we're hearing the term public safety personnel, or PSP as we refer to them, most people think of our highly visible professions like the career and volunteer firefighters and paramedics and police, by either municipal, provincial, or federal. But there are many different types of other public safety personnel, for example, border services officers, correctional workers, search and rescue personnel, and numerous persons who support all public safety operations. Important people who work potentially out of sight, like public safety communicators, like our 911 operators and dispatchers, and operational intelligence personnel. So we recognize that this is not an exhaustive list of public safety personnel, but this is the target area for the purposes of Public Health Agency of Canada and CIPSRT that we do serve. So I always also put a prevalence slide up here just for people to be able to see kind of like why CIPSRT was developed and why we do some of the research that we do specifically for public safety personnel. So there's some prevalence information up here that was led and was published by Dr. Nick Carlton on mental disorder symptoms and prevalence information for mental disorders based on self-reported measures of the general population and of public safety personnel. So the top slide, or sorry, the top chart indicates the percentage of the general population that has positive self-screenings for PTSD. So general population of approximately 1 to 3.5%. However, as you move across the graph, you'll see municipal police, RCMP, correctional workers, fire, paramedics, and PSP communicators. If you notice, in comparison to the general population, how much higher of a rate that those specific sectors have positive screening percentages for things like PTSD, major depressive disorder, general anxiety, social anxiety, panic disorder, etc. So it's clear by the prevalence information on the top slide in regards to why it's important that we do research and we try and do what we can in order to preserve and maintain the mental health and wellness of public safety personnel, just because of all of these numbers that show that there is so much higher prevalence in the proportion of PSP population found to have been affected by these mental health disorders. So that's just kind of a little bit of background on why it is that we focus specifically on public safety personnel in our research. So for those of you who don't know about CIPSRT or who haven't been in a presentation for CIPSRT, so CIPSRT is the Canadian Institute for Public Safety Research and Treatment, and CIPSRT effectively has 3 pillars of work. We work with public safety leaders and academics from across Canada to translate and mobilize research knowledge that meets the current and future needs of our Canadian public safety personnel. So CIPSRT is funded by Public Safety Canada and are a part of the Government of Canada's National Action Plan on Post-Traumatic Stress Injuries, again, to correlate with those slides that we looked at previously. And we're also part of the National Research Consortium along with the Canadian Institutes for Health Research. So currently on our website, we have 3 pillars here at CIPSRT, research, which we'll talk a little bit about some research and some outcomes, as well as treatment, which for CIPSRT is PSPNet, and training. And those are the activities that lead and support our vision to improve the mental health and well-being of our public safety personnel. Currently, CIPSRT is also supported by an amazing external CIPSRT team, which is the Public Safety Steering Committee, and a few academic groups, including the Academic Research and Clinician Network and the ARC-NAC, which is the Academic Researcher and Clinician Network Advisory Committee. Always a long title, right? So today we're going to talk about some of the outcomes that CIPSRT has for our project training and development program for public safety personnel. It was done with funding from the Public Health Agency of Canada. So it initially started in 2022, 2023 to execute a training and development program specifically for those most affected in public safety personnel by the effects of COVID-19. So in 2022, 2023, this included launching a Train the Trainer program for our Road to Mental Readiness program, as well as new online initiatives for R2MR, Level 1 training, and other training opportunities, including the newest training that CIPSRT developed, which was Treatment 101. And then CIPSRT was successful in receiving extension funding on this specific project for the current year until the end of March 2024 to continue to offer and study this additional training. So for those that might have interacted with CIPSRT or have interacted in regards to this project, this is just a little slide I like to show because it's not all about me. This is about team training. So myself and Derek and Caitlin, along with Michelle, Alaya, and Robin, are kind of team project training. The top part of the slide indicates kind of our administrative staff. We help execute the training program with Michelle, Alaya, and with assistance from Robin, assist with the data collection and the reading of that data. We also have other supports here at CIPSRT, obviously the CIPSRT Knowledge Translation Hub, like Kara and the other staff members, as well as our Executive Director, LA, and Donna King, as well as Nick Carlton, who is our Scientific Director. So we're going to chat a little bit about the training and development program and what it consisted of in the 2 different years, because there are some different things. So in 2022, 2023, it consisted of numerous training elements, including, but not all, which was an R2MR Train the Trainer program, which is Level 2 training, the development and launch of Treatment 101, which was an extension of our 6 steps to finding a clinician that we have listed on the CIPSRT website, as well as R2MR online course pilots and a French language pilot, which is that Level 1 frontline training. And then in 2023, 2024, it consisted of the continued updated offerings of Treatment 101, continued ER2MR or the online ER2MR course offerings at Level 1. And then new this year is actually Sleep 101, which is something that we will talk about in the next few slides. So in regards to some of the items that we have for upcoming here, let me just go back. There, sorry. In regards to the Train the Trainer program, which was our R2MR Level 2 trainers, last year, which was a part of last year's funding, we don't have any funding for Train the Trainer in this current year, but R2MR Train the Trainer courses, there was 178 trainers that were certified across Canada and deployed within specific organizations or sectors. We had 178 trained across Canada, including the first ever training in Yellowknife Northwest Territories, as well as a French offering in Montreal, Quebec. Out of those 178 trainers, most of them have begun their own training sessions or have deployed their own training sessions within their organizations, with over 175 trainers with those trainers offering multiple sessions with over 400. Sorry, Kara, can you mute your microphone?
I'm sorry, if I mute it, the captioning won't work.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I'm sorry.
So out of those 178 trainers that have deployed within their organization, they've offered multiple sessions within their organizations with over 475 participants receiving the training and approximately 200 receiving their certificates. So just a couple of quotes here, because we don't actually have a whole lot of data outside of like the continuing ongoing rollout of the organizational Train the Trainer. So just some quotes here from that level 2 training. They enjoyed the course. It was one of the best that they had ever attended. The preparedness, communication, and facilitation were great. I really enjoyed the dedication of the facilitators, as it was evident they took pride in their learning and engagement, and that the facilitators were excellent and the videos and such were relevant. So these was feedback that we received from the level 2 trainers that were trained and certified by our master trainers at the Road to Mental Readiness level 2. So that's just a little bit about the Road to Mental Readiness Train the Trainer program. So now to move on a little bit about Treatment 101. So Treatment 101 for public safety personnel is an online course that was designed to guide participants through the process of deciding upon and obtaining their services from professional mental health care practitioners. The course addresses topics that are specific relevance to public safety leaders, and the administrators in public safety personnel, as well as part of their organizations. Again, this was an expansion that we did from the original 6 Steps to Finding a Clinician that CIPSRT has posted online under the Knowledge for Use section. So what we did was, when we realized that the 6 Steps to Finding a Clinician had much too much content to be just 6 steps, we pulled a bunch of content out of that 6 Steps to Finding a Clinician. And when this opportunity came up for us to be able to take all of that extra information and data, we were able to put it into an online asynchronous course where everybody would be able to find the information. So again, it's asynchronous and it's online. It's approximately 8 hours over the course of 2 weeks. So there is a specific module release. There's 3 modules released in the first week, and then the remaining modules are released in the second week. Because it's just been developed, it's currently in English only, but we do have courses available running every month from now, from September until February of 2024, as a part of that extension funding that we received. So if anybody's interested in Treatment 101, there are additional courses that are still left available for registration. But I will give you a little bit of information in regards to some of the post-course program data that we got in 2022-2023 in regards to Treatment 101. So in regards to increased knowledge, which was one of the key things that we wanted to do when we developed Treatment 101, is we wanted to make sure that we gave public safety personnel the ability to increase their knowledge and to be able to access that information in an easy and learnable way. So 75% of the people that filled out the survey results from last year's offerings of Treatment 101 said that they learned a lot or a great deal in the course. 81.9% report that they remembered a lot or a great deal of the course material. And 85.7% feel that they have quite a bit or a great deal of confidence in their ability to access mental health resources if they need to. We hear that quite often from public safety personnel, is that if you're in a crisis or if you have had a critical incident that has happened to you, that sometimes it's very difficult just to make those very basic choices. And if you don't know where to go or you don't know how to find those resources at all, researching to find out how to get those resources would be very overwhelming. So hopefully if people are aware of how they can receive treatment or how they can access treatment in advance, if there ever becomes a time where it's critical for you to be able to access treatment, that you already know the pathways that are available to you. We also had a goal to increase some skills, and 75% of those that finished the post-course surveys believe that they very much or extremely have increased their ability to implement skills from the course. And so skills from the course basically being like, do you have knowledge on how to access mental health resources? You know, are you aware of how you can find a clinician? What are your specific provincial rules around public safety personnel and regards to treatment? And so all of that information is already incorporated into the course. So another part of the original funding that we received was to pilot and test the R2MR level 1 frontline training that we have for public safety personnel. During COVID, we took all of the face-to-face materials that we had for level 1 programming and converted it into an online version. But we were unable to pilot it. So the funding from Public Health Agency of Canada allowed us to pilot the English content and then convert the English content into French content and then execute multiple course offerings throughout the course of the year. So the Road to Mental Readiness Level 1 program, which is our frontline program, public safety personnel gain key resiliency and toughness skills. The training additionally includes generic mental health education, including early identification and signs of mental illness, coping strategies, stigma reduction, and how specifically to respond to a person in crisis. So this course is synchronous and online. So we do blended cohorts that you register for online at CIPSRT in order to be able to attend these courses, but they are for specific dates. Unlike Treatment 101, where it's asynchronous, where you log in and complete the modules at the deadlines that are outlined at your own time, R2MR online specifically is synchronous. There's a listed 4 dates that you need to register for and attend all 4 dates in order to complete the training. It's approximately 6 hours of course material over 4 specific days. You do receive a certificate of completion. The current CIPSRT offerings are available in English only. However, for those that have trained and certified in the French version, they will soon have access to be able to do the French version within their own organization. Registration for R2MR online, or ER2MR as we call it, opened up in the summer, and the first 2 sessions that we have offerings for are full with a wait list. However, there has just been some new dates released for November and December on the CIPSRT website for anybody that is interested in learning about that. The best part about this R2MR content is that the most recent core content available and developed in 2018, given permission to CIPSRT from the Department of National Defense, includes multiple instructional hours plus a leadership module for leaders for those who are trained to be able to deliver that leadership module. And it includes all of the additional information on persons in crisis and how to respond to a person in crisis, as well as responding to a person in crisis that might be within your own public safety organization. So some quick post-course program data from 2022-2023, so that's last year. Our last year's funding efforts through Public Health Agency of Canada. 100% of those that filled out the post-course survey agreed or strongly agreed that the course addresses issues that are relevant to public safety personnel. And 92.3% agree or strongly agree that since taking the course, they have noticed a change for their better in their ability to show leadership in their organization regarding mental health, which is around that stigma reduction, and leadership support, which is a wonderful positive change in behavior. And 82.1% believe they can implement the skills from this course quite a bit or a great deal, which again goes back to being able to ensure that people have the skills that they need in order to be able to manage and maintain either their own activation and their self-health and well-being, as well as being able to recognize it in others and being able to support them in the best way possible to be able to get them safe and get them the help that they need. So that's specifically some of the post-course outcomes from Treatment 101 and ER2MR. New to this current funding extension year is the addition of Sleep 101 into the research project. So CIPSRT has partnered with Dr. Colleen Carney, the Director of Sleep and Depression Laboratory at the Toronto Metropolitan University, to develop a sleep course for public safety personnel. So this is also an expansion on the sleep toolkit that CIPSRT, in partnership with Dr. Colleen Carney, released on the CIPSRT website. So again, there is a toolkit that's available under resources or knowledge for you on the CIPSRT website. However, this is an expansion of that basic material. This course is also synchronous, so it is for specific scheduled dates because there is a live presenter, but it is available online. It is 6.5 hours in total for the full course, which is 4 sessions broken over 4 days. And each session features a discussion led by Dr. Carney and the opportunity for interactive activities and questions. You do receive a certificate of completion, and currently this is available in English only. So offerings that we still have, there's still time to register for Sleep 101 if anybody's interested in those courses. So again, it's 4 courses or 4 short courses to 1.5 hours to 2 hours for each course session over the course of 4 days. Sleeping well for public safety personnel, addressing insomnia in public safety personnel, addressing apnea in public safety personnel, and why treatment can improve and prolong your life, and coping with shift work and working within your own clock. So currently those are the titles of the entire certificate program. Registration still available for September for Sleep 101, as well as an offering again in January if you're not able to attend the September one. But always check for the CIPSRT website, because we think we might release, if possible, if we can confirm with Dr. Carney, something upcoming for November. So if September doesn't work and January is too far away, or you think you're going to be on a hot vacation in January, keep posted on the CIPSRT website, because if we add an additional date, that's where you'll find it, is on the website. So no continuing updated data in regards to post-course outcomes for Sleep 101, just because we are still in the current year of offering that program. And so I don't have any initial feedback yet from that program. It's all the data is still being analyzed. What I will say is Sleep 101, Treatment 101, and R2MR, including the online version, is accredited throughout a few different associations, including the Alberta College of Paramedics, the Saskatchewan College of Paramedics, and the Paramedic Association of New Brunswick. And so if anybody belongs to those organizations, or if you have an organization that kind of certifies or accredits training for the benefit of public safety well-being, you're always welcome to send us an email to let us know, because Derek is always looking to continue to accredit our programming at levels within associations or within organizations. So if you belong to any of those organizations and you're looking for some accredited training, there are some options available on the CIPSRT website. So that's kind of just a brief overview of the programming that we have running and some of those initial post-course outcomes for the programs that we have post-course training outcomes on. Obviously, there are ongoing evaluations of the program impacts from 2022-2023. So the long-term data on the health and wellness and the impacts that it has on mental health and well-being for public safety personnel are still ongoing. We did take post-course analysis as well as 3-month post-course and 6-month post-course analysis, but of course all of that data is still coming in from last year. And so I'm unable to report in any mental health changes. Those would be reported obviously in reviewed papers that will come out from Nick and the CIPSRT project team when it's readily available. However, fall 2023 registrations are open and available for all programs. So Sleep 101, Treatment 101, and the online version of R2MR Frontline Training, ER2MR, all have course availability for the fall as well as into the new year for Treatment 101 and Sleep. Website updates are always ongoing. I just inserted a bit of a screenshot here of a different way for you to be able to sort. So if your training has to happen in a specific month or at a specific time, or you're looking to specifically go at a specific time, we do have a calendaring option now by month available on the training website. So if you need to take your training in September or you need to take it in October, you can sort which specific course you're looking for in any specific month to help it fit into your calendar better. Or if you're looking for the complete listing of every course for a specific offering, underneath the calendar, you can click on any of the colored boxes there and it'll take you specifically into all the information for each course and when it's available for the duration of the extension funding. We will have new winter dates for the online version of ER2MR. They're just not posted quite yet, but there will be an offering in January and there will be one in February. We're hoping to confirm those within the next few weeks. And then I just have a couple of points in regarding the research portion of all of these courses. So of course, everybody always finds usually when they're completed a course online that the immediate benefits are, you know, that they feel that they have learned something and all of that is great, but we are researching these programs to ensure that they have evidence base behind them, which means that currently all of the courses that you register for now are being funded through Public Health Agency of Canada, which makes them complementary to you. So if you attend a course and if you register for a course, we do ask that you complete the course. And we do ask that if for whatever reason you've registered for a course that you can no longer attend, that you notify us so that we can withdraw you from the course and open up that spot for another person who might be looking for that learning or to look to participate in the research. So the research is always ongoing on the mental health surveys and the wellness impacts and that long-term, at least 6-month data for all of these courses. So surveys are always optional, but they're always encouraged. So for all of these courses that I've described to you today, you receive communication in regards to a pre-course survey. So 1 week prior to the course, you receive a pre-course survey. Post-course, you receive a survey. 3 months after you receive a survey, and 6 months later you receive a survey. And now I understand that all of that might seem overwhelming, or you might not think that you have the time, or you might not want to share in some of those anonymous feedback surveys. However, it's so important for a CIPSRT in order to be able to collect all of the research data to say, yes, these programs are effective, or no, they're not effective, or they need to be changed, or they need to be adapted. The only way for us to do that is to have people participate in those long-term research surveys so that we can see whether or not there actually is an impact on your mental health and well-being, and whether or not the skills are still remembered 6 months down the road. And those impacts really help us make good decisions in regards to continued programming and what continued programming potentially looks like for CIPSRT or for any organization, so that we can indicate that there is evidence base for the programming that we do offer. So CIPSRT also has many other resources on the website. So I've kind of spoken obviously about the training resources. So this is just a screenshot of the landing page. It's an old one, I think, so I'm not sure if it exactly looks like this, but of course the training tab in the blue there, what you see is still accurate. When you click on that training tab, there's a drop-down box that says training opportunities that you just click on. And then all of the training opportunities and the calendaring option is available to you there. Under Knowledge for You is where we have all of the information that I spoke with about the sleep toolkit, as well as 6 steps to finding a clinician. Eventually, Kara is where Kara uploads all of the information on the webinars, and all of that information is under that black bar, that Knowledge for You. The yellow tab, which is treatment, which was PSPNet, which I very briefly kind of chatted about, and I have a couple slides if I have time, which I think I do here. I'll chat briefly about PSPNet and their offerings. And then research, obviously, that research tab is the knowledge translation that we do for other research for public safety personnel, including all of the newest information available on the RCMP longitudinal survey study. So all of that information is under the research tab as well. I do have a few minutes before I close out for questions, so I will quickly just mention about PSPNet. So PSPNet is the treatment arm of CIPSRT, and it is the Internet Cognitive Behavioral Therapy, so ICBT treatment program that's available within Canada. It's a service that is provided to PSP, including first responders who are suffering from the challenges related to depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress. So PSPNet is available to first responders in Saskatchewan, Quebec in English and in French, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, PEI, and also in Ontario. So those are the provinces right now where there is funded clinician-supported ICBT therapy, or there is also a self-guided wellness course available to all public safety personnel in Canada, including provinces that maybe don't have clinician support, as mentioned above. PSPNet was also the recipient of some public health agency funded of Canada project funds, and they also are doing a PSPNet, but a families version. So they have partnered in order to be able to offer PSPNet families. So if you're looking for resources for yourself in regards to training and development, we have those on our website. But also PSPNet, the website will lead you to resources that can assist you with resources for families, which is also important as well. I do have a slide here in regards to the outreach and the impact of PSPNet and some of the outcomes in regards to people who found PSPNet worth their time and whether or not they would refer a friend, as well as the outreach in regards to PSPNet and all the presentations and the awareness that we bring to mental health awareness and to the treatment options that are available. And at 11:36, a little bit ahead of time, I am available for any questions.
Thank you, Rachel. That was wonderful. I can see that there are a lot of questions in the chat here. Rachel, would you like me to read them out to you, or?
Let me just see if I can find all here. So the statistics we saw talking about general populations and some categories of safety personnel, is there a number for CBSA? So I'm not sure if you're talking about the data sets for that was at the beginning of the slideshow. Is that what that question is in regards to? Sorry, that's probably nauseating that I'm going back so far so fast. So this prevalence information, is that in regards to that, is there a number for CBSA? I don't believe so. I do believe, though, if you look at the DOI, so on this slide, which I'll make available in PDF form, you can go and look, but it's my understanding that the chart is representative of just those specific sectors that were collected. So if you're talking about this prevalence information, it's only that I only have the data that's posted in that slide, but there is reference to the entire paper if you wanted to go and take a look to see if there was any other general information about CBSA. Is there any pre-course data of any kind? So pre-course data would all be released in regards in research summaries and in research papers. So I can't disclose any of that information. I actually don't have it. I don't see it. I'm an administrator of programs, and it's our research team that looks at all of that information. But pre-course data of any kind is inclusive of pre-course, post-course, and then that long-term data. And so we don't separate that out right now at this point. So all I deal with in regards to the administration of programming is just the post-course data. Any information in regards to the participants' mental health and wellness pre-course and post-course and ongoing is all a part of research data, which is upcoming. I don't have access to any of that information. Jane very kindly put the links for all of our sleep treatment and R2MR are also CEC accredited through BC Ministry of Health. Oh, that's excellent. Maybe that was just an update that I missed. So thank you for whoever put that in the chat. Unless that was Derek, maybe I just missed it on my slideshow. So thank you for whoever put that in there. Where does PSPNet fit into your organization? So if you mean how does PSPNet fit into CIPSRT, it's that PSPNet is funded as a portion of the CIPSRT as a part of CIPSRT in general, as the treatment arm, and as a part of the research that is ongoing in regards to the ICBT research treatment that is going on. So it does fit in under that training pillar, or sorry, under the treatment pillar specifically. That is the only offering that CIPSRT has for treatment specifically that we run is PSPNet. Can you register for only one course? So Sleep 101 session 1 out of 4, I assume. So we do encourage, so the only way for you right now to be able to participate in the research study is to be able to complete all 4 courses. So if you don't complete all 4 courses, then you will not have the opportunity to be involved in the research study. So we are encouraging people, if possible, to find the time to go to all 4 sessions. But when you do go online, you do have the option to only register for one if that's all you're interested in. But we're hoping to encourage as many people as possible to register for the entire program, just simply because we're kind of researching the efficacy of all of the content, and we can't, if you only go to one course out of 4, then obviously you can't speak to the program in its entirety. So can you only register for one? Yes, you certainly can. Would we like you to register for all 4? Yes, we certainly would. But any and all training that you get that you think might be valuable to you is appropriate for whatever time you can make for it. And I think
that seems to be the last question in the chat, but I am still seeing a few more questions here in the Q&A. Oh, here we go. Jane just popped it in the chat.
Do you know whether the stats in these graphs provide a comparison between law enforcement stats and in those in other professions? Are the numbers higher? Oh, sorry, I'm gonna go back up here. The stats in the graph, sorry, the stats in the prevalence information graphs, I'm assuming that's what you're referring to, provide a comparison between law enforcement stats and those of other professions. Are the numbers higher for first responders? I'm not sure I understand the question, because the slide does indicate that there is a difference between law enforcement and those in other professions. But do you mean other professions outside of public safety personnel? I'm not sure. If it's in regards to other professions outside of public safety personnel, I believe the answer to that question is no. But again, you will receive, or you can, when you receive the recording, there is a reference number, the DOI number for the actual publication itself that you can reference. And are the numbers higher for first responders? So proportionately, we do know that first responders do have higher stats than the general population, but again, against other professions, I don't believe that that was something that was taken into account in this specific study. I'm already a master trainer for R2MR. When I complete the other 2, can I still participate? That's a tough question without actually me being able to see your name. So if you wanted to contact me, I'll put my email back up here. If you wanted to contact me, I can forward your information to Derek on our team and he can take a look at it. There were different certifications of different content or different levels of content pre-2018. So it's tough for me to answer that question unless I kind of understand a little bit more about how and when you were certified. Does CIPSRT provide letters of completion or certificates for your courses upon completion? Yes, so when you go to the CIPSRT website and you go into the training tab and you go into each individual training, it will tell you what you do receive upon completion of all of the all of the course. Almost all of the courses you do receive a certificate course of completion. And so that is made available to you. Either it generates automatically for the asynchronous course once you've completed the post course, or once you've completed the exam at the end. And then for R2MR and for Sleep 101, based on participation and attendance, if you attend all of the courses and participate in 80% of R2MR, you do receive letters of completion as well, yes. Oh, there's a PSPNet question. Do we have any timeline on when Alberta will have therapist guided programs available? You know, I wish I had the answer for you for that, but I don't. I obviously am not the subject matter expert in PSPNet, but unfortunately it is not yet available in Alberta. I cannot give you a timeline in regards to when that will happen, but always keep yourself posted on the CIPSRT website and follow our social medias, because if there's ever any change in availability in the provinces or availability between specific sectors, all of that information gets announced either through CIPSRT or CIPSRT actually also, PSPNet actually also has their own communication. So if you go to the PSPNet website, you can sign up for communication, and that'll be the first place that the public will hear about any changes in the offerings of PSPNet. Will there be any training in French like R2MR level 1 and level 2? So we did offer R2MR in Quebec at a level 2 in French. It was facilitated and certified all completely in French, but we're not doing any more train the trainers with our current tranche of funding. R2MR level 1 in French is potentially available if you have a certified level 2 French trainer within your organization, then it is available. Currently, what we have scheduled here at CIPSRT right now, it is only in English because the majority of master trainers that have availability for blended open course cohort options don't speak French. But check the website, because if there's ever any change in that, or if we ever have any availability with any of our master trainers who have the time and availability to offer open cohorts in French, we would certainly be open to that as well, because the ICRTSP content is translated in French. So yeah, any questions about PSPNet, please make sure that if you have any questions about the timelines for PSPNet within your province, if it's not available, please go ahead and go to the PSPNet website. You can submit a comment, you can sign up for any of their social media there, and you can reach out to PSPNet directly, because again, I'm not the subject matter in PSPNet, but we're all on the same team, so I'm always looking to try and promote when I can. Do I have to train someone after I do the sleep training? No. So the sleep training is actually just for frontline. So it's just for you to be able to understand your own sleep and your own patterns, and how for you to be able to get your own best sleep. Sleep 101 is not a train the trainer style program. It's just for frontline participants in order to gain information about their own sleep and how it affects their mental health and well-being. That's all I see. Is ICRTSP only 24 hours? So the online version for R2MR, it is broken into 24 hours. So 4 days of 6-hour days online, or it's 6 hours worth of learning kind of spread out throughout the days with breaks. And then we give people a week in between. So the first 2 days are usually on a Monday, Tuesday, or a Thursday, Friday, where you get the first 2 modules. And then there's a week break to kind of give everybody a break, because we know that being online for an entire day, or even with multiple breaks, can be a bit monotonous. That we give people a week break, and we give them the ability to be able to practice the skills they learn in the first 2 modules, and then they come back and then they participate in day 3 and day 4. And so it is the complete R2MR training for frontline level 1 training is 24 hours in total. Will the sleep training help me to sleep better? Well, I can't guarantee that. I can't guarantee that sleep training will help you sleep better. Sleep 101 is not necessarily about sleep training. It's about giving you tips and tools and techniques in order to be able to help you get your best sleep available, considering your circumstances, whether or not you work shift, or whether or not there are ways for you to better understand how to get a better sleep. But it's not, I wouldn't define it as sleep training. Sleep 101, that's not the intent. It's not necessarily a sleep training program. It's just meant to be able to give people the information for them to be able to obtain their best sleep in order to be able to ensure that they're giving their body and their mind enough time to be able to recover. If we are not frontline workers, are we automatically disqualified from the Sleep 101 course? I guess that depends. There is a drop-down box when you register. So the main target audience for Sleep 101 is for public safety personnel. I mean, if you are frontline adjacent, or if you would qualify kind of under PHAC's definition of a frontline worker, which does extend to like nurses and social workers, I mean, we certainly wouldn't turn you away in regards to learning about sleep, but it is definitely meant for frontline workers who have very specific needs in regards to sleep that maybe the average Canadian citizen doesn't have. So I'm not saying that you would be disqualified. I don't know specifically what sector you're in, but if you wanted to email either myself, or you can email, there's a generic training email on the CIPSRT website, on the training site, if you want more information. Disqualified is a harsh word, unless, you know, unless you are completely and 100% don't identify as any type of frontline public worker, we don't disqualify very many. However, keep in mind it is federal funded money specifically for public safety personnel and those most affected by COVID-19. I don't know, Jane, is there any more questions? Or did we round them all out? Oh, Jane says we might have rounded them all out.
Yep, I think so. Still time if anyone has a last minute question for Rachel. Otherwise, I just want to thank Rachel Werrett for such a wonderful, engaging presentation. To our audience.
It is a lot of content, so hopefully people will be able to review if they've missed anything I've said.
Yes, that's right. And as I mentioned off the top, the video will be sent to you automatically. So yes, again, thank you, Rachel, for this wonderful, engaging session. Thank you to all who joined us today. I will also maybe invite you all to sorry, just sharing my screen here, to our next session, September 6th, where Dr. Simon Hatcher from the University of Ottawa will be presenting a lecture in support of Suicide Awareness Month in September. So you can find all those details and how to register on our website if you're interested in that. And again, thank you so much, Rachel. And I hope we've all learned a lot. And yeah, thanks again.
Thanks so much, Kara, for the opportunity. I appreciate it. Still open registration spots available for September courses. Cutoff is coming up next week. So if anybody's interested, please go check out the training website.
Thank you. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you.